Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi Theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, today we've got another simple hover effect for you. It's really eye-catching. We've got a little headline at the top there. When we hover over it, it's going to pop out of the page. Sort of have a bit of box shadow and change color there. When you pull your mouse off of it, it's going to disappear back on the page. Nice little effect, no coding or extra plugins involved into this today. And if people are mousing around your site, that's going to get their attention pretty quickly. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is enable the Visual Builder. And let's go down. I've got a section here, the blue tab. Inside I've got a row with one column and then a text module. So I'm going to go up and we'll get rid of the section there and we'll start from scratch. I'm going to add a new section. Little blue button there to add a new section. I'm going to make it a regular section. Inside I'm going to put a single row and a single column. Before I put anything in there, I'm going to drag this up at the top because I want it as our headline. So I'm simply just going to pull it, left click, pull it and release it at the top there. There we go. Now inside I'm simply going to put a text module. Divi comes as standard with all these modules, plenty enough to build just about any sort of site. If you've got WooCommerce installed on your site, you also get an extra dozen for displaying your WooCommerce products. But I'm using just a simple text module today, so I'm going to left click on that one. And there it is. I'm just going to use it for a title, so put in whatever title you want. There it is. I'm going to turn it into a title 2. Or heading 2 I should say. Great, and let's pop it in the middle and make it a little bit bigger. You can either go over to design and title text or hit the little paintbrush. It'll take you right to the H2 editing section for you. Now Divi comes with a huge amount of fonts. I'm sure you've heard me say before, if you want to audition one, just roll over it. I've got one I've used before. It's great for this sort of thing called Anton. It's kind of blocky. There it is. So I'm going to use that one. I'm going to make it bold. I'm going to make it uppercase. I want to pop him in the middle. I'm going to make it a lot bigger. Something like that. That's going to pretty much grab people's attention. Let's make it blue in color. Let's just check it on some responsive devices, and this is common to all Divi modules. If you hover over the dark writing there, you'll see some icons appear. And if there's a little mobile phone type icon, we can check it on tablet. That's okay, I don't mind it breaking up like that. And on mobile. That's okay too, I don't mind it breaking up like that. And you can actually have different values if you want to change it around. You can put different values on each. Now this is a hover effect, so it's going to work best on desktop. It will work on the tablet and mobile, but they're not going to know to tap on it, whereas it'll automatically do it when a mouse hits it on desktop. Okay, so we've got our title there. What do we actually want it to do? Well, when they hover over it, I want it to sort of grow. I don't want to have a box shadow appear underneath it. So I think I'm going to spread my letters out a little bit with the letter spacing just below here. Something like that. Obviously you do what you want. I'm going to throw a bit of box shadow behind it. See which one we think is going to work. Probably something like that. And we'll make it a little bit longer. A little bit more to the right there. And a little bit longer down there. And we'll give it a bit more spread. Because we want to be able to see that text nicely in a moment. Okay. Now what we can do, and this is similar to all Divi modules as well, again when we hover over we see those little icons. If there's a little arrow there, we can set a hover state and a desktop state. Desktop's when your mouse is not on it. Hover obviously when your mouse is on it. So when in the desktop state, I don't want to see any box shadow at all. I only want to see that when we pop out. So I'm in the text shadow color here. When it comes back in, I want it to be fairly dark. So I'm going to put black in there. That's a little too dark, so I'm going to click on the color, grab the variegated slider over here, which is opacity or see-throughness, get it down to the sort of color I want, something like that. Fantastic. Now also when we hover over it, I want it to change color. Let's go back to desktop mode. We've got that. So if we go back up to our heading 2 text color, hover over the dark writing again, make sure you're on the one that you want. Color is the one that we want today. Hit the little arrow. Desktop's fine. On hover, when the shadow comes in, I'm going to turn it white. There we go, so it's sort of reliefed against the shadow there. And I think I'll change the section background a little bit just to have it pop out a little bit more. But I also want it to grow in size as if it's sort of lifting off the page. To do that, if we close up our heading text down here, we can roll down to transform down at the bottom here. And the first one we've got as our tab is scale. And you can do width and height. I want them both to be coming up at the same rate, so I'll leave that little chain check right there. If you want them separately to grow or shrink, just take that off and do whichever one you want. But for me, it's going to work fine with both of them. And when we're hovered over, I want to make sure we've got our little arrow up, go into the hover state. I'm going to take it up by about 25%. And you can slide, you can type in a value, you can increment up, down with the little arrows to the side there. Okay, so when we're not on it, it's blue, and that size. When we hover on it, it's going to pop out and give us that text shadow there. Now the transition time that it takes to go from desktop to hover state with Divi is 300 milliseconds by default. I'm going to slow it down for a bit of drama. To do that, go over to the advanced, we'll go down to transitions, and here you'll find it. There's the default 300 milliseconds. I'm going to take mine up to about, I don't know, half, 3/4 of a second, something like that. 700 milliseconds. Don't want any delay, I want it to happen as soon as their mouse hits it. And the transition speed curve I like to use for my hover effects is ease in, ease out. They're all slightly different. Some will work better than others in certain situations. But ease in, ease out is my go-to for this sort of effect. Okay, well let's save this. And let's just put a slight background in our little section here, so when we hover on it and it goes white, it's going to stand out a little bit better. So let's go up into our section. Going to go down to background. I'm going to use a simple gradient. You've got color, gradient, image, video. You've got background pattern, and you've also got background mask. They just introduce those two, and you can get some great effects with them if you play around. I'm just simply going to put in a gradient there. I think I'll leave the blue at the top. I'm going to make it white at the bottom. And that blue color, I'm just going to take down a little bit in opacity so it's there. And we've still got a bit of a gradient going on. Okay, when you're happy, save the changes. Let's see what we've got on the front end there. So before I exit the Visual Builder, if you wanted to turn this into a link, the title or the section or the row, you could just go in there, and in the content you've got a link down below. So if you wanted to turn it into a link and take them to your amazing news story or whatever it is, simply put a link in there. Always best practice, if you're linking to your own site, leave it in the same window. If you're linking to somebody else's site, open it in a new tab so your site stays open. Okay, well we've added a little link to that now. So let's save our changes and exit the Visual Builder. And there's our amazing title. Nothing's going to happen until we hover over it with the mouse. When I put my mouse on it, it's going to grow and add a bit of box shadow like that. And as you can see, we've got the hand icon, so it's turned it into a link. Then when we get off, it's going to go back to its own thing. And like I say, that's great if people are mousing around your site and something like that happens. It's going to get their attention pretty quickly, which is what you want with a title like that. So there you go, guys. There's how to create an animated growing title using the fantastic Divi theme. Like I say, no coding involved, no extra plugins today. All done with the inbuilt features of the Divi theme. So I hope you've enjoyed this and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.